7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
So, big things are happening right here in Town Center. The 2014 literally started here at Town Center 1 second after midnight, and you had a fantastic success the first year. The second year was even better, and so I think the CBDA has started a new tradition in our city, and that's exactly what we want to have happen at Town Center, is that this is going to be the place that people identify with and gather together. So big things are, in fact, happening at Town Center. Probably the most significant in 14 was the completion of the Clark Nexon building, and it's a beautiful mixed-use project. It kind of sets the standard, I think, for what we're trying to do in the city. 23,000 square feet of retail, great office space, great office tenants, and the namesake of the building speaks very well. It's a beautiful space, 290 apartments, and about 918, I believe it is, additional parking spaces. So this was a fantastic addition to Town Center, something that we're really proud of. I think I'll mention it too, that 14 was a turning point, I think, in Town Center. We had finally broken the barrier. We reached the tipping point, however you want to describe it, in terms of retail development at Town Center. We've had fantastic success with the office space, with the restaurants, with the apartments, the condos, parking, the streetscapes, the fountain, all is just fantastic. The weak sister has really been retail, and Gerald has broken his back trying to get some great retailers, and this was the year that it happened. And so we're feeling really good about the momentum with Anthropologie, Lululemon, and so on. West Elm going to be opening up. I think these are unique retailers. This is the only place they're going to be in the Hampton Roads region, and I think the momentum is really there now for additional retail. Town Center Restaurants, Tupelo Honey, that's also in the Clark Nexon building, and Twist Martini Bars, where old Havana Nights was. They're both doing, or Twist is doing very well. Tupelo Honey will open later this year. Office space, two fabulous tenants. USI Insurance Services moved 150 people into Town Center, and of course Clark Nexon. And I think I can't say enough about Clark Nexon in terms of what their coming here means to this Town Center. This is exactly the kind of jobs, the creative knowledge workers that we want to have working here in Town Center. So we really, really are pleased that they chose us. Across the street, wow, Pembroke, lots of great things happening. The redo really started in 2012, I think, with Target coming in, and then 2013 we had the Bahama Breeze and some of the additions there in the mall, and now the announcements that we're seeing with REI, which, by the way, signed the agreement today, this morning. Uptown Alley, upscale bowling alley and restaurant. Yeah, let's give Pembroke a hand here. I've got to get this right. I don't want to be misquoted. Nordstrom Rack, they signed their agreement last week, so that's a done deal, as they say. So some really great things happening. Sandler Center, obviously the crown jewel. It's been open now since 2007, where we've had 1 million folks visit us at Sandler. Last year we had 631 different events at the Sandler Center. One of the really neat things about the center is that the foundation raises money and provides for the Access the Arts program for K through 5 kids that are in our Title I schools. So that's been a fantastic success. If you remember back, a lot of you were involved in this, there were people that were actually opposed to building the Sandler Center. And think about what Town Center would be, think what the city of Virginia Beach would be today without that facility. So we're very proud of it, and you can share in that pride. So lots of good things at Town Center. The resort, we're expecting some really big things coming up in 2015. 14 was a great year. While much of the country was seeing tourism declines. We had our fourth straight year of record tourism revenues. And you know, I think with any resort, with any tourism destination, the resort needs to evolve. And I think some of the really exciting things that are going to happen down here, and there are going to be some game changers. The biggest probably is the arena. The council unanimously approved the term sheet to construct with our partners in the private sector a beautiful state-of-the-art arena that will hold 18,000 folks. And if you think about the state of Virginia, and particularly Hampton Roads, we've got 4 arenas. If you think of the region as, I don't know if Tom Franz is here, but from Richmond to Virginia Beach, you've got the Richmond Coliseum, which opened in 1971, has a capacity of 12,000. You've got the Hampton Coliseum, opened in 1970, again, 12,000 capacity. Scope opened in Norfolk in 71 with a capacity of 10,200. Ted Constant Center opened in 2002 with a capacity of 9,000. So you've got 3 old and small arenas, and you've got 1 just simply small arena. So this region, this market, needs a major facility like this. And the studies that we've done say that Hampton Roads is the most underserved region in the United States in terms of professional sports or a major facility for entertainment. And this is a unique financing mechanism. The money's being put up by the private sector, the city's providing the infrastructure, so we don't have to go out and issue a couple $100 million in debt. So we're very excited about that. Some big things are going to be happening in 2015. This will be one of them. Will be the final decision on the arena, hopefully this spring, and then leading to construction later this fall and opening by the end of 2017. So, Andre, congratulations to you and your crew. They have really been super to work with. This slide freaked me out the first time I saw it. And I thought I was looking at Miami Beach or something, the moon over Miami, and I went, wait a minute, that's Virginia Beach. There's the arena on the right and the convention center on the left, the hotels on the resort, the fireworks, the moon. So it's going to be a fantastic accomplishment. One of the things that I think will happen if the arena, or when the arena is completed, I think between the arena, the convention center, we've got over 500,000 square feet in the convention center, 16 to 18,000 seating capacity in the arena. We will be able to attract some major events that have traditionally bypassed Virginia Beach and Hampton Roads. I also think when the 2 of these facilities are booked together and used together, they're going to generate the need for a convention center hotel, which is something that will take us, I think, to the next level. So when the 3 of those facilities are done, we're going to have a very, very competitive complex down there. Convention center, I mentioned last year we had 557,000 people come through the convention center, 361 events, basically 1 a day, 103,000 room nights generated, $42 million worth of direct spending by out-of-town delegates. So the convention center has really been a home run for us. And I think, as I said, with the arena across the street, it's going to even be more so. Also at the resort, here's the dome site. Those of you who've been around a while remember that. I think 2015 we'll know the answer in terms of what is going to happen with the dome site. And as I think you all know, we've entered into an agreement with Peterson Companies to take a look at what can be done at the dome site. The council has given them till May 20th to come back to the Development Authority with the proposal for the dome site. Peterson, if you're not familiar with them, have done National Harbor, which is a $1 billion project up on the Maryland side in DC. I've been up and looked at it, and it's absolutely spectacular. So we hope that we'll get some great thoughts from them in 2015. Cavalier Hotel deal. This is the best public-private partnership we've been able to pull off. For an $18 million public investment, we're getting a $260 million private investment. The revenue that will be generated from this will return that $18 million in probably, I'd say 3 years, 4 years. So not only does it preserve the old hotel and the grounds, it also will redevelop the east side of Atlantic. And I think when this happens later in 16 and then in 17 on the east side of Atlantic, I think people are going to be amazed at the 5-star, and that's what it's going to be, a 5-star tourist destination in our community. And we're so proud that we're able to preserve the building. The other end of the oceanfront, Rudy Loop, we completed the Rudy Walk, which Barry Frankenfield will tell you he's been working on that for 25 years, and he finally got it finished. So if you're ever down there, you can actually walk under the bridge and not have to walk through the mud and fall into the inlet and all of that kind of stuff. So it's really very nice. The neat thing that I think we're setting up there with some of those investments is that whole Rudy Loop area, which essentially the city owns almost all that property, that'll be the 5-star anchor at the south end of the resort. The Cavalier will be the 5-star anchor at the north end of the resort. It's going to be a whole new ballgame. Rudy Loop is in the priority scheme of things, something that we want to accomplish after we get the arena built, after we get the dome site done, and we think we get the Cavalier finished, we'll be ready. So excited about that. I-Fly, 25th Street used to be a surface parking lot for the city. It now contains a $49 million project. The I-Fly part of it opened 2 weeks ago. 598 parking spaces will open in June, just in time for the summer season. The city's gaining about 250 spaces over what we had there before, and then 147 luxury apartments will open by this fall. So an amazing public-private partnership where we basically leveraged our land that we had put in, and we ended up getting paid 7 times what we paid for it, but we put the land into the deal, and it really is going to be a fantastic development. Lots of stuff going on in other parts of the community. This is over at Lake Smith, Lake Lawson, a beautiful trail system. Here's our unemployment rate. I thought I'd mention that. This is for November. As you can see, Virginia Beach had the lowest unemployment rate in the region, 4.5%. I think the new numbers are out today, and we'll probably be down to around 4.3. That's certainly positive. Created 1,300 new jobs in 2014. The economic development staff has really brought some great companies to us. This is the ribbon cutting for Proofrex, which is a German manufacturing company. People are saying that you can't manufacture anything in the United States anymore. It's absolutely not true. We're seeing all kinds of interest, great companies coming in here. These guys will bring in 60 very high-paid technical people, so we're delighted with that. In 2014, we assisted 29 existing companies in expansions. We attracted 13 new companies, and we realized $66 million of new capital investment. So a great year for economic development. AAA bond rating, we maintained that for the 5th straight year, and you're like, okay, big deal, why does that matter? We saved over $2 million in terms of interest costs last year with a refinancing on some of our debt, and last month we sold bonds. Get this, and this is not geodebt. This was our stormwater utility bonds sold for 2.87%. That's why, the AAA rating. This is Green Flash Brewery. This is going to be their East Coast location. Broke ground on a $20 million facility in October, and they're going to be producing about 100,000 barrels of beer a year there, which is interesting. And they'll have a tasting and so on there. It's going to open in 2016. Very excited about that. That's out at Corporate Landing. All right, I'm telling you, we are back. And I realize you can't probably read the numbers there, but you can see the bars. This is the value of all the building permits issued in the city of Virginia Beach for calendar year 2014. And that far right bar, if you read the legend on the left, is $640 million. That, other than other than 2005 and 2006, and you all remember what that was like, it's the highest value of new construction in the city's history. Another little factoid I got yesterday was that the population, another little measure of performance, I guess, in a certain respect, Weldon Cooper Center put out their July 2014 estimate of population for cities around the state. Virginia Beach is now over 450,000. The number is 451,672, so that's up about 14,000 since the census. Lessner Bridge is under construction. It's a $116 million project, thanks to the state in terms of funding most of that. Westbound bridge is scheduled to open by November of 15. Demolition of the current bridge will be over the winter of 15-16. Eastbound construction starting in April of 16 and completed by the end of May of 17. So this is going to be a tremendous project and one that we're going to be very proud of. Major new roads, we gave a briefing to the council yesterday. We've got 36 active road projects underway around the city. So I'm not going to talk about all 36, but there's 4 of these I just wanted to mention. The first 2 are completed projects. Nimmo Parkway, it's a $60 million project that really establishes for the first time a reasonable traffic pattern around the municipal center. Princess Anne Road, $61 million project, plus land acquisition, is going to be finished, we hope. It is finished other than the street lights are going in right now. And that really connects TCC, where's Mike, down to the municipal center. So if you haven't been down in that part of the city lately, you're not going to believe the changes that are going on down there. What these road projects are doing is really lighting a fire under the development in the Princess Anne Commons area of the city. A lot of development going on there, a lot of good things happening. Seaboard Road also connects into Nimmo. That was an $8 million project and was opened in September. We're under construction on Holland, which will go basically from Dam Neck down to the old Kellum High School, and we're continuing work on Lynn Haven Parkway. Believe it or not, by September of 16, we'll actually have that completed in the connection down to Chesapeake. So lots of great things going on in the roadway area. That's not too exciting, but we have a new water tank. And the color, you know what the name of that color is? It's called Tank White. So there it is. That's a 1.5 million gallon tank. It's going to serve 23,000 homes down in the Red Mill Courthouse area. The reason I put it in, I wanted to mention infrastructure, and it's hard to show you pipes that are under the ground. So this is the only thing we had that was above ground, so I put it in. We're spending $40 million a year on renovating our infrastructure. And a lot of cities are not doing that. They're going to be in a real crack. So we're trying to keep up with that, rebuilding our sewer lines, our water systems, and trying to keep up with that and doing some new improvements like this tank. This pump station's another example of that. All the money is spent underground. This is a big deal in terms of development at the resort, in terms of being able to handle the arena and other things like that. If we had not done this, we wouldn't have had adequate sewer capacity down there. So what we literally did with this project was split the resort in half. Everything south of 20th Street will go through this new station, which is now complete. We completed it in the summer of this last year. Brock Environmental Center, an amazing building. It's the greenest building in North America, and it's the home to the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. The Trust for Public Land, the Chesapeake Bay Foundation and the city developed a partnership to acquire this 118 acres of property, and thanks to the Brocks and others, the facility is built. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it. It's absolutely spectacular, and it's going to do very, very good things for us. It's a net zero building. It doesn't, is Max here? They're not going to use any electricity. So, great schools. If you talk about what makes a great city, it's public safety, it's schools, and it's our amenities and the things that we do with our assets. So I wanted to put in a plug for the schools. Second year in a row, all 11 Virginia Beach public high schools were ranked among the top 9% nationwide by the Washington Post. We're the only school division. We're the only school division in the state, or not in the state, in the region that can say that. Newsweek ranked the top 2,000 high schools in the country that best prepare students for college. So it's 2,000. There's lots of high schools in the country. 10 of our 11 public high schools made the list. So congratulations to the school board. If you haven't seen the new Kellum High School, it is absolutely worth a trip out there. This opened in January a year ago. It seems longer than that, but it's an incredible place. It is a state-of-the-art, exemplar kind of a school, and the school board and the city council are very, very proud of that. Achievable Dream Academy opened at SeaTac Elementary School. This is a real neat accomplishment, and I'm so proud of the school board for taking this on as quickly as they did and getting behind this. They went from concept to opening in like a year. We now have 212 students there in K through 2, and every year we'll add another grade, and eventually we'll have 1,000 students that will be graduating from high school from this incredible program. And I also am proud of the community that's raised several $million to fund this program beyond what we can fund in terms of the public school funding. So those of you, and I know a number of you here have given to that, thank you very much. I mentioned public safety as kind of the bedrock. Here's our crime stats, and we've had declining rate of crime for the last 20 years, and the 2014 numbers are up there. And you have to go back, it's kind of interesting in terms of that 50-year time horizon. The crime rate was last as low as it is today in 1964, so literally 50 years ago. This is an incredible trend. So as you all know, I think we have the safest city of our size in the United States. Not only do we have a low crime rate, our clearance rate, in other words, when you have a crime, do you catch the bad guy, is 75% in Virginia Beach. That is twice the national average for all cities of 250,000 or more. They're at 37%. Town Center Fire and Rescue opened. The fire admin is in there. This is the station that serves where we're sitting right now. I think it's appropriate for Town Center. We've got a new ladder truck in there and some new staffing, so you've finally got a station there that I think can serve the needs of a growing town center. We took the old Thalia Fire Station, converted that into an EMS station, so that will be there as well. The renovation of that will be done later this year. There's our mayor, look at him. The aquarium, again, we did a public-private partnership to provide the adventure park down at the aquarium. This is an amazing facility, and the mayor, I didn't do it, I chickened out. He actually did it, and we've got some additional work that's going to be done on this park going across the creek there over to the other side of the Owls Creek, and when that's completed later in 2016, we will have the largest adventure park like this in North America, so it's drawn a lot of people. Over in Bayside, got to have something in Bayside for Mr. Jones. The Lake Lawson, Lake Smith, I showed you a slide of the trail system there earlier. That was opened up in October. It's absolutely a unique environment. You can't believe you're in the largest city in the state of Virginia when you're out there. It's absolutely fabulous development. And here we go. Not only have we done something for everybody in the city, we've even done stuff for the dogs. So we opened our third dog park last year, and it looks like they're having a lot of fun out there, doesn't it? Some other stuff that's kind of interesting, the farmers market, our libraries. I put that in just because the libraries have partnered with the agriculture department and our ag community to do this, and we didn't know if it was going to work or not. It's been really well received. The reason I want to mention it, I think it's important, and it speaks to a unique advantage that the city of Virginia Beach has over virtually every city our size in the country. We've got an active, vital agricultural component, and if you think about where we're going with sustainability in communities, the ability to have ag and to have local products where you can actually buy them and consume them here, I think it's going to be an interesting advantage for us, and we need to play that up. So we're trying to do that with these markets in the library partnership. In Vision 2040, I saw Gary McCollum earlier, talked about this kind of stuff in terms of sustainability, the ability to have local produce, and what we want to be doing and how we want to be sustainable in 2040. Homeless outreach, this is a new program. We started as a pilot last summer. We reached 254 adults and 10 children, really working with the folks at the oceanfront to help those people get into better housing. The Housing Resource Center is something that will be coming up hopefully in in 2015 if funded, and that's going to be a 61,000 square foot facility where we'll really for the first time be able to coordinate all of our services that we provide for the homeless. Bank on Virginia Beach. This is a program that's been very successful. There's over 6,000 households in Virginia Beach that do not have a checking account or a savings account. That's hard for me to imagine, but true. So we came up with this program as part of the Mayor's Action Challenge to try and reach some of those people. The partnership of the local banks and some of the financial planning folks in town. The real program is to get with those folks, get them set up so that they can start to set some financial goals and move up in terms of their quality of life and prosperity. Nextdoor, this is a nextdoor.com. This is a program. It's like a Facebook for neighborhoods. And the gist of this is neighbors can help neighbors get things done. The city doesn't, and the government doesn't need to do, and we can't do everything for everybody. So this is a program that we started a couple of years ago. We now have more than 18,000 Virginia Beach households that are actively participating in this program and literally helping each other do things without having to call the city. It's been fabulous for neighborhood safety and neighborhood spirit. Our great volunteers, we've got over 23,000 volunteers. They donated over 1,200,000 hours of service last year. If we had to pay for that, it would be about $18 million to replicate those services. So thanks from EMS to the aquarium, to the sports league coaches, to parks, litter pickup. We've got a great cadre of volunteers that are helping us. And I think that to me is an indication of what people think about a community. If they're willing to volunteer their time just to make this community a better place, we are really, we're blessed with that. Okay. I was trying to get one of those hats for today, but I couldn't find one. Pharrell is now a recipient of the Key to the City. This happened in June. As you all know, he had the best-selling record in the world in 2014. Put this in here because if you talk to him, he cares about this city a lot. And his foundation is working with our schools to really help at-risk kids. So he's more than just a big hat here. There's a lot of substance there, and I don't think we could buy better PR than that. The other thing that's interesting to me, if you talk to him for more than 30 seconds, he will tell you he is where he is today because of the teachers in the Virginia Beach school system. And I think we can really be proud of that. So, 14 was a pretty spectacular year. What's coming up in 15? I've mentioned a couple things already. Let's talk about light rail. This is probably the biggest decision we're going to make in a very long time, and I think it's a real litmus test of whether or not we want to be a city or not, and if we want to be sustainable in the future or not. So probably by the end of March, Council's going to be asked to make a decision on what is called the locally preferred alternative, which says what kind of technology do we want, where do we want it to end, where would some of the stations be, and what's the mode going to be? Is it going to be bus rapid transit, light rail, or nothing? That's what the draft EIS, which is now finally, after years and years, is finally complete, lays out. And so the next step will be to make this decision, hopefully in the next 2 months or so, and then if that decision is affirmative, we go forward, we do the preliminary engineering, we get the final EIS approved by the Federal Transit Administration, and then we'd put it out for bids. So we'd actually know, based on some engineering design, what the cost of this system would be and what the benefits would be. So it's hugely important for not only Town Center, but the whole city. And this is going to be the next couple of months. The question, in terms of the oceanfront, I think the study obviously covered that. We're thinking in terms of our ability to pay with the federal government not being a partner. Probably phase 1 is going to be here to Town Center, and we'll have to figure out how to get to the oceanfront later on. It might even be a different technology. The Florida Department of Transportation last week approved the maglev agreement down there, which is kind of interesting. VDOT and Aubrey Lane and Jennifer Mitchell from the state have been extraordinarily helpful to us in advancing the ball on light rail. $155 million offer and some other incentives that they're putting out there, I think really make this doable and something that I certainly hope happens, and it definitely needs to happen. And as I said, I think it's probably going to be the most strategic decision we'll make for the next several decades. We have a new YMCA and a 50-meter swimming pool that's under construction and should be open by the end of this year. That was a public-private partnership, public partnership with a nonprofit, and the city donated the land for that. That's going to be great. That's out in Princess Anne Commons. New baseball complex in terms of additional fields. We're talking about 17 new baseball and softball fields built totally at the private sector's cost, a professional stadium for 6,000 seats, an Atlantic League team, about a $54 million private investment. All the city did here was provide the site, and we're going to be widening Lansdowne Road to get access down to that site for about $7 million. 30,000 hotel room nights, 183 jobs, and hopefully we'll break ground this summer and could be playing ball by 2016. Top Golf, this is a $29.9 million investment that will be right off Greenwich Road and 264. Hopefully will open by the end of this year. It's a unique entertainment center and all kinds of skill levels. Lots of revenue for us, lots of fun for folks. Bow Creek Rec Center will open here in May. This is going to be a fantastic addition to the community. As soon as this gets ready, as soon as this opens, we'll tear down Kempsville and we'll start the reconstruction of that. The new Kempsville has been funded by the council at $32 million, and that will open late in 2016. Down in the boondocks, Blackwater Fire and Rescue Station, this will be open in May. It replaces an absolutely obsolete, inadequate facility that was built like 60 years ago. So that'll be opening, as I said, in May, and EMS and fire will be in that facility. Princess Anne, I have to say this for Amelia, Princess Anne Road and Kempsville Road will be opening in April or May. We've added a lot of things to this project. This is more than a road project, folks. This is a real plan for this area, and I think it's going to put the identity back into Kempsville. We'll see development on the surrounding corners. This is the northwest corner, which will have a great commercial center there, including a Walgreens and some other commercial property. Those of you that are in the development business, hey Bob, you need to listen to this now. The new Acela system and planning is going in. That's going to go live by the 1st of June. It's going to dramatically improve our ability to better serve the development community. It's been a goal that we've set out for the last 4 or 5 years, and it's finally coming to pass. That will happen by June 1. Expansion of Town Center. I think if you think about 2015, we're going to make some big decisions about Town Center. I think assuming the light rail decision is positive, we're seeing lots of folks queue up saying we want to do transit-oriented development around the periphery of Town Center. A lot of the good things that are going on here at Pembroke, the northwest corner, or the west side, going south, east, literally every direction from Town Center, there is significant development interest to expand the urban form that we've established here into those areas. So Town Center is doing exactly what it was meant to do. Where we are sitting today, if we had not done this project, you know what we'd be sitting in? We'd be sitting in a super Target. That's what was going to go here. So the vision that the council had at the time and the community had, and Armando Hoffler had, Burl, Gerald, all of you, it's really coming to pass. And I think the success of Town Center is way exceeded all of our expectations. And it's been an overnight success. Of course, we started in December of 1999. That's when we signed the original agreement. I didn't believe that. It's 15 years ago. But it's really having an amazing impact. I want to mention this quickly in terms of regional transportation. This is some real good news in terms of the Hampton Roads Transportation Accountability Commission finally is in gear. We're collecting almost $200 million a year. There's several projects that have been selected. We're actually going to improve the access to our cul-de-sac, being I-64. That'll be done in 3 phases there, plus the Fort Eustis interchange will be redone. 64 high-rise bridge. And the one that really will have the most impact on us is the 64-264 intersection. We're going to fix basically half of that intersection, which is $320 million to fix. It's hard to believe. But it'll really open up, that's the busiest intersection in the state other than up in Springfield. So, there's a few things going to happen in 2015. I think it's going to be a year of big decisions. It's going to be a year of decisions that set the course of our city for the next 50 years. The CBDA, I'm happy to say, has been a huge part of that and that success that we've achieved here. And I think without your support, we could not have put this together and we could have not sustained it. So I think 2015 looks great. I'm very privileged to be here with you today, and I really appreciate your support and your enthusiasm for this great city. So thank you very much.